Yo, welcome back to our Shoot Like a Girl series, where we break down the best shooters and scorers in women's college basketball and pro basketball. And today we have the number 3 leading scorer in women's college basketball, Keishana Washington from Drexel. Let's get right into it after she hits this midi.
Ball can take you a lot of places, all over the world, if I'm being quite frank.
Be formless, shapeless. Be water, my friend.
Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is her mid-range shooting ability. Okay, she does a really good job of stopping on the dime and getting into her mid-range. So the reason why that's such an important aspect of her game is because if you guard her too tight, she can get to the cup. But if you're a little too loose, she's going to pull up for that mid-range. Way to play without the basketball right there. So that mid-range game is important if you're looking to be one of the greatest scorers, right? Because it opens up so much for you, right? Especially if you're explosive getting to the basket like Keishana, getting to the line, 7-8 times a game, right? Look at this possession right here. They got to get in front of her. If they do, I'm just going to pull up for a little jump shot, right? She's mastered that, okay? The next thing she does really well is change her pace. Notice that possession right there, right? She goes from a full standstill to a full sprint, stop on a dime, pull up. Again, she's poised, relax here, rip through, hezzy cross, get to the cup for a lay.
Another thing that I really like about her game is her ability to move without the basketball. You see here, she gets a flare screen, rip through for a layup, and her ability to shoot the basketball as well. Right, look how she drifts to the open spot, rip through, gets to the layup. So she makes herself available to get the ball. You'll see here in this clip, she passes to the post, spaces the floor, somehow gets the ball back, gets to the open spot for that lovely mid-range. Okay, another thing I really like about her is her jump shot. We've been talking a lot about this Shoot Like a Girl series and the things that she does. She has a really good turn, she has a really good sweep and sway, and a really good dip, which allows her to get power and range into her shot. She's just an all-around great player, which is why her stats are the way that they are, which is why she's top 3 when it comes to points per game. Good way to move it out the basketball there. I actually want to real quick, I'm going to share my screen. I actually want to go through some of her stats so you guys can see the rate at which she's scoring and how she's scoring, because she's doing it from all 3 levels. She's a true 3-level scorer. And this last possession here is a big reason why I need to share her stats with you all, because she does a really good job of getting to the line. All right, so I wanted to break down some of Keishana Washington's stats just to show you how effective of a scorer she is, right? Because she is the epitome of a 3-level scorer, right? There's some players that if they're not shooting the ball well, then they won't score that game, or if they can't get to the cup and finish layups, if the defense really packs the paint, they struggle scoring because they can't shoot. And then there's some players when, they get to the paint, they're getting foul calls, but then they can't make free throws. But again, she's like the embodiment of a full, of the full package, a full scorer, a true scorer, a 3-level scorer. So I want us to look at her stats for this season right here. So this bottom row. Okay, so she's averaging 27.7 points a game, which is 3rd in women's basketball. That's ridiculous. 850 points in one season. It's ridiculous. She's an over 2,000 point scorer, by the way. But a stat that I want you guys to really check into is her free throw percentage. She's shooting basically 85% from the free throw line, right? You see all these games. So actually, let's look at these games. I was going to wait to the end, but, at the bottom here, you see her 3-point shooting percentage. She's shooting 31% from 3. And as I look at the numbers from some of these games, what I'm seeing is when she's hot and making shots, she's hot, right? But when she's cold, right, she's doing other things to supplement the lack of scoring. So, for example, some of these games, this is a game right here. She shot 3 for 7 from 3, which is actually pretty decent. But she ends up shooting 17 free throws here, right? 2 for 7 from 3 this game against Stony Brook. 10 for 10 from the line, right? So she finds ways to get it done. She shoots 5 for 12 from 3 here, gets to the line 15 times. And you see her shot. I mean, she is like I said, she's a volume shooter, so she's going to get them up. And you see, over the years, she's increased, her scoring totals. Where is her points at? Every single year she's increased her scoring totals. So it shows progression. So I think my hypothesis is that she's going to end up getting a roster spot with the Minnesota Lynx. Right now, she went undrafted to the Lynx. So essentially she's trying out. I don't want to say trying out, but she's fighting for a place on the team. Again, as a 5'7" guard who's a scoring guard with a very low assist to turnover ratio. I mean, if we look at these stats down here, assists to turnovers are right next to each other. Essentially for every assist, she's basically getting a turnover. We could see it from some of these games. A lot of turnovers in some of these games. But again, I also think that's a part of her, taking on a lot of the scoring load and being the main ball handler and those things. But I think that will plague her going into her pro. I think that's why she had to go undrafted, because I do think she is better than some of the guards who did end up getting drafted this year. Or not better, but just as good. She can compete with them. So it'll be interesting to see what she does this coming up WNBA season.